So, what you been up to, man?
Oh, what have I been up to? Drinking margaritas
Yeah.
at all times of the day.
Are those
Um,
Budweiser strawberries you're always talking about on Improv?
oh no, this is a straight margarita on the rocks, having some fun. I've been creating lots of TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
I will be in TikToks Anonymous by the time this thing is over, I think.
Yeah.
But of course, I've also been working. Being in broadcasting, we are, of course, essential.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of work as well, which has been a little crazy on our part, especially the social media aspect, which is a main part of my job, getting all that information out. But for the most part, chilling at home, I have honestly enjoyed myself a little bit, I think, honestly.
Okay.
So,
How are how much Golden Girls have you been watching?
I've been watching, honestly, I haven't watched a whole lot as much as people would think. I've been binge watching Law and Order SVU, which is my all-time. It's honestly right next to Golden Girls for me.
Okay.
But I've started watching stuff that's out of my norm
Mm-hmm.
because to me, I don't want to get bored watching the same stuff.
Okay.
So I started watching Love is Blind on Netflix, thanks to Roxy Deer,
Mm-hmm.
which I do not watch reality TV. I hate it. I definitely don't like dating shows.
She watches The
Uh,
Bachelor.
yes, she does. And they've
She's a
tried to
smart
explain
person,
it to
but I
me.
don't get that.
So I started watching Love is Blind and I binged it for 4 hours the first night. Uh, so honestly, I cannot wait to get off work tonight so I can go home and watch it again.
Okay.
So, but it's just I'm finding new things to keep me busy. I mean, it's not something I normally watch, but it's kind of like I have nothing else to do at home. Might as well try something new.
It have you though? Do you go to some of your old favorites though? I mean, to as far as like comfort food, as far as how a TV show or a movie would be.
I think so. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of favorite movies at night, like when it's, like when you get ready to go to bed, watching some of my favorite movies that bring back good memories.
Like what?
Um, for me, that would be. I'm a huge Goodfellas fan.
Right.
To me, that is the greatest movie of all time. The other night, I watched Days of Thunder with Tom
Oh,
Cruise.
that
I
movie
love
I think it's a great movie. I love it.
it. Really is. That is such a good movie.
And that
I
movie gave
also
John C. Riley some background
it
work
did
for Talladega Nights, if you think
it
about it,
did it
because he
did,
was one of
and he
the crew
doesn't play
guys.
that big of a role in that movie.
No.
So I've always wanted to work that line, a line from that movie into our improv skits,
Yeah.
and it is my favorite part of that whole movie. And I all the time from Nicole Kidman saying, "Let me out the car, let me out the car." That is my
Yep.
favorite line.
That was. I mean, I'm no Alex Trebek, but that was about 4 Nicole Kidman faces ago. She doesn't look this. You look at her in like Aquaman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So because I can believe Jason Momoa is Nicole Kidman's offspring.
I could see that.
But so
So
if you think, okay, what would you say? What's Nicole Kidman's biggest role? What's the biggest thing she's ever done? I'm not that much of a Nicole Kidman. I mean, I don't dislike her, but
I'm honestly not that big of a fan. I'd have to say Days of Thunder. I've only seen her in Days of Thunder, and I think she played in Bewitched, didn't she? The remake.
oh, she was, yeah, with
I
Will
saw.
Ferrell.
Yeah, I think that's the only movies I've seen her in. To be honest with you.
Well, I think she's, in fairness to her and to really draw out our ignorance, she's been nominated for an Oscar, I think maybe 2 or 3 times,
Yeah,
but
hey,
not from those movies.
she married Keith Urban. I do know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm not a huge Keith Urban fan either. So.
Now, wait, she's the Australian. He's American, right?
No, they're both Australian.
Keith
Yeah,
Urban's Australian?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, what we're outsourcing our country music to Australia now?
Exactly.
Whatever happened to
It's country music from
America
Australia.
first, please.
Exactly.
But no,
But no, they're
yeah,
just a beautiful Australian couple.
yeah, they would. It's like when Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were together. It's like if they had produced a child, that the child would have been just a ball of light. It would have been so
It really
beloved.
would have been. It really would have been.
So how are you staying in touch with people? I mean, how is that working for you as far as family or just anybody that you normally would have been
Talking
with?
to, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's really been, and I know you're usually pretty out there too. I know you usually stay very busy. And to me, that was kind of the main shift. I mean, I love connection. I love talking to people. I love seeing people. I'm one of those people that can't stand being at home for more than
Mhm.
like an hour. Like I will sometimes come into work early and get busy work done in the office just so I can see other people. So for me, it's been a lot different, but FaceTime has been huge. With some of my friends, we'll do, like a FaceTime with like 3 or 4 people,
Right.
and we're sharing a drink together over FaceTime. Or honestly, I joked about it the other day on my show. I don't think my dad has ever used FaceTime, but I'm now FaceTiming my dad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just that new thing, and I think we're very fortunate that technology is where it's at during this point, so that we can do things like that.
Speaking of technology, I'm hearing a lot of crackling from your. Is the microphone from the cord in the headset? Is that what's picking up our mic right now?
Uh,
I don't know. That's so
it
weird.
might be.
I don't
It
know.
might be. I can try to unplug it real quick.
Are you going to be able to hear me though?
Probably not.
Hey, we'll just deal with it. I mean, if Chris Cuomo can chip a tooth and still be on TV, me and you can
Exactly.
handle a.
Exactly.
I saw where he tweeted out that he's lost 13 pounds in 3 days.
I'll tell you what, that guy. It's crazy seeing the national news networks doing things from home.
Hmm.
Like it really settles in that none of us really have to go to work. We can all work from home.
Do you have any? See, this is where, like Amy's law firm, the law firm is able to work completely remotely.
Hmm.
So what is so it's happening. It's hitting our household in a way that's going to be probably more manageable for us than it
Hmm.
is for someone who works. Like I have a brother who works in the food grocery supply chain,
Hmm.
and he has to go to work. So how is that affecting people in your circle?
Um, it's a little different in my circle. I mean, as far as my work circle goes, we only have about 3 people that normally use our studio, and that'd be myself, Rick Duncan, and Scott Epic. So Rick comes in, does his morning show. Scott Epic actually has a studio at his house. So the last 2 or 3 weeks, Scott's actually been broadcasting from his house. And
Okay.
then I come in the afternoon. So it really hasn't changed up my work schedule very much, other than the fact that a lot of our office staff is now working from home.
Right.
But in my own circle, I know my stepmother actually works for Reed. So she's working in the little pop-up
Yeah.
tent city that they
Hmm.
have over there. So it's kind of been a little weird for her. Luckily, she doesn't really come in contact with patients. But as far as a lot of my friends, I mean, I have some friends that are working on Zoom. This is my first Zoom call, by the way.
Okay.
So,
Maybe my
but
fourth, so I'm not much more the expert than you.
but but I think it's affected some of my friends, especially since I have a lot of friends and myself, a lot of community meetings, whether it's with you guys at DIVA or
Yeah.
some of the different boards and committees that I'm on. It's really changed the way that works, to where, like I said earlier, thankful for technology that we can communicate that way. I'm on a commission for the city of Richmond, for the police department, and we actually all voted the other day via email.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we're allowed to do that, and that's a technology that we have, especially people being able to work out business meetings and things. I have a lot of friends that are able to do that via Zoom and things like that. Luckily for
Right.
me, like I said, it hasn't changed much for me. Um, Typically, my day I'm our social media director, so I work from this thing all the time anyway. So it really hasn't affected me as much, I guess, thankfully. But it's crazy to see how it is affecting people all over.
Well, I spoke with Roxy, and I recorded one of these about 2 hours ago, and it was, I FaceTimed my sister yesterday who lives out in Arizona, and I've texted a little bit more frequently with a couple of my brothers, but not dramatically more. So my conversation with Roxy a couple hours ago was the first time I've really interacted with somebody at length, and so it put tears in my eyes, because Roxy's just an awesome person, and the energy she brings to the planet is just enviable for most of us. It should be. So I'm going down a rabbit hole here, and I forgot where I was going.
The human connection, though, it's what we miss.
Well, and see, that's the thing. The point I made to her was, we see so many of these okay boomer types that are all like, what did we do before we had phones? We actually talked to people. Well, who's thinking they're lucky stars for all this crap these days? Everybody.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's teaching us how to, I think most of us are going to learn how to conserve things across different levels of our daily lives that we were never really giving a thought to before. So people that are more financially challenged in society, they're probably, in some aspects, maybe a little more, as far as food consumption, maybe a little bit more ahead of the curve when it comes to that. But the problem with that is that people that are a struggle financially to begin with. I mean, we've got 7 million people unemployed in 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. I think it also, to me, and I posted this on Facebook, I think a couple days ago, was, for me, I like to claim to be an introverted extrovert. I mean, it's
like having diarrhea and being constipated at the same time.
It is. People never really understand it. I mean, I love being the center of attention, and I love to put on a show. Now, if it's one-on-one, I'm not usually that good with it. I don't really like small talk with people.
Sure.
But to me, it's been a lot different because I'm not seeing a whole lot of people. I mean, it's weird for me. And that's one reason, as much as funny as it is, I started creating those stupid TikToks, and I know they're stupid. But for me, it's kind of a way that I'm putting that energy out on social media, and I'm making people laugh. And that's one thing that I like doing. And I think one thing that I found out about myself is that if I can continue to make others laugh, it's helping me.
Well, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, one of the things that technology has kind of been fighting me a little bit today, that I'm trying to upload just a little, hey, Diva's still here, this is what we're trying to get going kind of video. It's been uploading for 2 hours, and it shouldn't take that long. So I've done something wrong. But when it comes to, because today would have been our next improv show, or tonight. So for me, it's been a struggle to, more often than not, I don't feel creative. I don't feel like I can go out and be funny, to do something, and be fun, like you're talking with those TikTok videos. I don't find it in myself right now to be funny. I had the worst day of this whole thing so far for me was like 2 days ago, and I bottomed out, and that's what started me putting all of this stuff together. To try to, I needed to find a way to not ignore what's going on, but to try to find some energy, to find some positive energy, because I've just been glued to the news. I've been glued to the White House press conferences, because I'm always, I'm not afraid that there's the next big set of bad news that's going to come out, but that's where we're going to find what's going on. So
I totally agree. And I think that's one of the things too. I mean, and being in broadcasting right now, we typically share, your funny stories of the criminal that tried to stuff a ham down his pants and got arrested. That kind of stuff's not happening right now. I mean,
old hand pants is losing his
not
stage
happening.
time. No, there's no hand pants.
But it's just weird because it is that thing. I mean, there's very rarely, I feel like there's very rarely something that affects every single person on the planet. And there's not one person on this planet right now that's not being affected by this. And it just feels heavy.
Is there anyone on Antarctica right now? Because I think last I knew there was still none of it down there.
Yeah, there's still no cases there. There might be one or two guys down there maybe, but I mean, it's just insane. And I totally agree with you on the improv thing. I mean, you literally just reminded me that we would have had a show today.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because especially with our improv family, I mean, we've been going at this, almost 2 years now?
It's like 19 months.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen every single one of you every single Sunday for rehearsal.
Yeah.
We've done our shows. And I think it is just as much for me as it is for you. Improv to me has become an escape.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't know half of our cast, probably 3/4 of our cast,
right,
before we all met. But now we're all so close.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a little weird. I mean, Sunday nights, I don't go to improv now. So it's strange.
We still, and I needed to kind of maybe had that bad day a couple of days ago to try to finally get myself motivated into getting ready to, we need to start doing stuff remotely, and for now, what will be the third time, Amy and I have talked about, let's get everybody online and do a Zoom improv meeting on Sunday night. This will be the third Sunday I've talked about doing it. And I just, I can't, it's kind of like putting on pants. If you don't have an excuse to go out of the house, are you really putting on pants? Because I'm going to tell you, like I told Roxy 2 hours ago, I'm not wearing pants right now. I'm a grown ass man. I'll do what I want.
Hey, I'm not judging you. If I wasn't at work, I wouldn't be wearing pants right now either, but I'm sadly at work. So,
but we've got, it would be really easy for people to just close the doors and just shut the world out. And that catches up to you pretty quick, I would think. For me it does anyway. And so hopefully maybe this weekend we'll get something going, and we'll try to see if we can get something figured out about how to make something work remotely. But I can tell you right now, the alphabet game's not going to work like this.
No, it's not.
But there's no crowd to respond off of either.
No, there's not. And I think it's, this is a time that all of us will remember. It's been such a weird time, but I think that, and I mean this in the weirdest way possible. And if the people that possibly watch this might take this in a weird way, but this is almost therapeutic and almost kind of good for us in a way. I mean, I'm finding out a lot more about myself. Like if anybody that knows me, you've seen my pictures on Facebook, or you know me, I'm a huge fan of decorating my home and buying antiques and decorating my home. But I'm never there. I mean, I literally will wake up, get dressed, and leave just because I can't stand sitting at home by myself. But I have learned to actually enjoy being home. And it's kind of helped me a little bit in that sense. And I think it's kind of maybe helped a lot of people. There's a lot of people that, maybe it's always going out to eat. That's another thing with me. I mean, I don't ever cook at home.
Yeah.
Last night I cooked at home, Andy. I made a meal.
What'd you make?
Okay, we don't have to call it a meal. Okay, I took some fried chicken patties and put them in the deep fryer and put them on bread with some tartar sauce. But still, I make my own food.
I never thought you were white trash, Hoover.
Hey, it was on white bread too.
That actually sounds pretty good.
Sadly, it was on white bread and not a bun, because to whoever keeps buying all the damn buns at Meijer, please stop. I need some buns. I have a whole pack of hot dogs at home too, and I refuse to eat hot dogs rolled up on white bread. but I'm probably going to get to that point this weekend if I can't find buns.
Well, okay. So when it comes to, because I've put it up on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, that the couple of times I've been out to the grocery store has just been an absolute nightmare, because what seems to me, the trips that I make to Walmart, I would say 85 to 90% of the people in the building couldn't give two damns about being 6 feet apart from somebody. I mean, I had an employee, I was looking at something, about to grab something off of the shelf, and I had an employee just pop up like right here, like a shopping ninja or something. And I'm just like, I would have expected more from the employee. So what have been your experiences when you've been in a space like Meijer or Walmart, when you are stuck having to go where people are going to be? What kind of experiences have you had with that?
I haven't been to the grocery a whole lot. But it's been a little different. Usually for me, I've been going later at night, typically when I get off work. So I think Meijer closes at 10 now. I've been going about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and it hasn't been as busy, so I haven't really dealt with it. But I did notice that yesterday I went and got gas. And I've been taking like a glove when I get gas and, using the pump. But I had to go in and pay. I didn't have enough money on my card, so I take cash in.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman behind me that got decently close, and I was kind of like, I almost said something, but luckily the person in front of me moved, and I was able to get a little bit more space. But to me, it's crazy that people have to be told that, because I'm already the person. I don't care if this is going on or not. I'm usually going to be a couple feet from you. I'm not going to be on top of you anyway.
Right.
I don't like sneaking up behind somebody and grabbing the cheese as they're looking at other cheese. I'm going to say, excuse me, can I grab some cheese? So it's weird to see that some people aren't doing that. But I will say it is refreshing to see some people taking it seriously.
Yeah.
The people that are, washing their hands, the people wearing gloves, the people wearing masks. It is, I guess, kind of refreshing to see that some people are taking it seriously.
Do you think it's enough people?
See, I don't know. The sad part is I don't think there's ever going to be everybody. Not everybody's going to take it seriously.
No.
And that's the part that's strange.
I mean, I saw somebody within the last 48 hours refer to Dr. Fauci as a blanking moron.
And to me, that's sad. And the thing is, it's like, I look at myself. I am a 24-year-old healthy male. Now, if I was to contract it, I think, knock on my fake wooden desk,
and move your camera.
And move my camera.
Your name's out of frame. Tip it back.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
But I think that I would be okay if it was to happen to me. But it's still the thing. Like, even if I feel like I might not be a risk, which is not a thing, by the way. There are people of all ages that are dying from this.
Yep.
You just got to take it seriously. It's about flattening that curve. That's the thing. Like, we can get things, and I think it's the same way too. If people would realize, I saw multiple reports on it with the grocery store. You're talking about the grocery store. If people could get back to buying groceries the way that we normally buy groceries,
yep,
things could slowly get back to normal. I think everybody's just learning to adapt in weird ways.
Yeah.
And hopefully people can whip it into shape and we can get this stuff done. Because we got a whole nother month of this. So at least. And that's hopeful. That's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
So
tell me about, I can't make out what's over your left shoulder. There's a framed, like a certificate.
Oh, yeah.
What's above that? It's below the World's Fair trip. What is that? Is that Motley Crue?
So that is a picture of, here, let me get up and get it real quick.
All right.
I gotta take my headphones out. So this is actually very, very hilarious. So being in the media, we sometimes get the opportunity to um, go to Kings Island for some of their new rides.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, we got the chance to go ride Banshee. Now, in this photo, it's very funny. So you'll see myself and Rick Duncan enjoying Banshee.
Okay.
Now, Banshee is a 4-person ride. So at the time, Mayor Snow still worked here, and he rode with us, and he got to go. But they wouldn't let us take, we only had 3 of our DJs up there, and they said we had to put somebody in the 4th seat. So, of course, the guy that rides in the 4th seat next to Mayor Snow is doing the weirdest pose he can.
Wait, go to your left with it. I can't see him. Now, now you got to go back to your right. Stop right there. Oh, the guy with the thumbs up or the finger guns?
Yes. He had to look so cool. So I have a random picture of myself, Rick Duncan, Dave Snow, and some random dude.
Wait a minute. Which one is you? I don't recognize you in that picture at all.
On that one.
God,
I was young. It was like 2014. It was young.
Okay, but, well, you're young enough that 6 years ago your face probably looked different.
A little bit, yes. So, yeah, I have lots of randoms in my office. My Funko Pops are up there. We have Elton John, Biggie Smalls, Johnny Cash, Rue McClanahan. No, not Rue. I'm sorry. B. Arthur, Rick James. There's a Rick James one up there.
Yeah.
And Nikki Sixx.
Okay.
So I also have you can't see them, but Pulp Fiction toys.
Yeah.
The Pulp Fiction toys recreate the bathroom scene with the gimp. So.
Okay. Can we say that word?
Can we say? I think we can.
Okay. I don't really know what that word means. I always just figured it was a guy with a limp. Here, I'll show you one from mine. This is, you see that?
Oh, yes.
That's Cogsworth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in 2009 at Richmond Civic Theater, I played Cogsworth. Now, as you can see, when we did Beauty and the Beast, I should finish that thought. So you can see where there's like a side here. What that is this was a figure with Lumiere. You can see Lumiere's other candlestick hand on his back. It was one piece. Myself for Cogsworth, and just enormously talented man from Dayton named Blaine Heater played Lumiere, and that was that's one of mine.
I like it. So, see, it's funny. My office also, I don't know if you can see the bright orange high heels up there.
I see that, yeah.
That is from Walk a Mile in Her Shoes every year with IU East, Earlham, and Genesis Women's Shelter.
Right.
So I have some very, very nice, and you can't see it on my walls here, but I do have signed pictures of Rue McClanahan and B. Arthur on my wall.
Really?
Yes, I do. Here, let's see.
You were going to have to wash all your hands, and now the things, because you keep touching your nose, bro.
I know. How do I turn this around? Here we go. There we go. So there you go.
Oh my.
That is a Rick D's oven mitt, by the way.
I mean, Disco Duck Rick D's?
Yes, Disco Duck Rick D's and the weekly top 40.
Wow.
He sent us oven mitts because we air his show. So he also sent me an autographed picture that says, Hoover, you're number one. Sadly, he sent Rick Duncan the same one. So I don't know which one of us is really number one.
Does it say Hoover's number one, or does it say Rick Duncan's number one?
It says Rick Duncan.
It says Rick Duncan's number one. If he'd have sent one to Rick that said Hoover's number one, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been so much more fun.
So.
But it seems like you guys are doing good. You and Amy.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the law firm's virtual almost to begin with anyway. She already had stuff. Amy's super duper tech savvy. So she already had everything up in the cloud anyway. So, you know, it's like you guys in broadcasting and Amy with the law firm, those are essential services. So to that end, as much as you can say everything's as it was before, you know, it's work is what it was. It's just from home now. So,
yeah.
Well, this has gone on long enough. we need to wrap this sucker up because I got groceries coming from Walmart here in a few. Because I'm never going back. I'm sick of too many people not getting it. I'm having stuff.
Oh, I don't blame you.
I'm not doing it.
I don't blame you.
So we'll catch up again soon, and maybe we'll do some improv stuff on Sunday.
Yeah, let me know. I
All right.
appreciate you including me into your conversation.
All the time, man.
So
Just
let me know.
All right. Well, all that. Can you do that? Close enough. All right, man.
Just call me Richard Nixon.
No, I won't do that. I'll call you Hoover.
Don't.
No.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you later, man.
I'll see you later, man.
All right, bye.